weathered Toyota Camry pulled up to the gleaming entrance of the Grandview Palace Hotel, its 15-year-old paint job contrasting sharply with the marble columns and gold-trimmed doorways. Behind the wheel sat Antonio Valdez, 72, his silver hair neatly combed despite the long flight from Mexico City. The young valet, Tyler, took one look at the modest sedan and the elderly Hispanic man stepping out, and immediately decided this was someone who'd made a very expensive mistake. "Sir, excuse me." Tyler's voice carried practiced authority as he jogged toward the Toyota. "This is valet parking for hotel guests only. Public parking is 3 blocks down on 5th Street. Antonio Valdez stepped out slowly, his movements careful but dignified. At 72, he carried himself like a man who'd built something with his hands. His dark suit was well-tailored but showed years of wear. His leather briefcase bore the patina of countless business trips. "I am a guest," Antonio replied quietly, his accent carrying the weight of 45 years in America. "I have a reservation." Tyler's trained eyes swept over the scene. Faded Toyota, elderly immigrant, modest clothing. Everything screamed, wrong place, wrong person. Behind them, a gleaming Bentley Continental pulled up, its engine purring with $250,000 authority. "Sir, I need to assist other guests right now," Tyler announced, already moving toward the Bentley. "The Marriott down the street might be more appropriate for your budget." The dismissal was casual, automatic. Tyler rushed to open the Bentley door with a warm smile and immediate attention. The contrast was stark. Red carpet treatment versus cold rejection, based purely on vehicle value. A well-dressed woman stepping out of the Bentley noticed the confrontation. "Finally," she commented to her companion, loud enough for bystanders to hear. "Someone's maintaining standards around here." A young businessman in an expensive suit pulled out his phone, beginning to livestream. "This is about to get interesting," he whispered to his audience. "Hotel valet dealing with someone who obviously can't afford this place." His viewer count started climbing. 90, 214, 356 people watching in real time. "Perhaps you could check with the front desk about my reservation," Antonio suggested, his voice remaining patient despite the public humiliation. Tyler returned from the Bentley, his irritation visible. "Look, sir, I'm trying to save you embarrassment here. The Grandview charges $400 per night minimum, plus valet fees, resort charges, taxes. You're looking at $600 a night easy." More onlookers had gathered. Other valets whispered among themselves, pointing at the aging Toyota, surrounded by luxury vehicles. Hotel guests waiting for their cars watched with amused interest. The live streamer's audience had grown to 503 viewers. Comments flooded in. "Why won't he just leave? Security should handle this. Some people have no shame." Antonio reached into his jacket, retrieving a folded confirmation. His reservation showed the Emperor's Suite, the hotel's most expensive accommodation at $2,800 per night, booked for 5 nights. Tyler examined the document with growing confusion and theatrical suspicion. "Sir, this has to be some kind of mistake. Maybe identity theft or someone's playing a prank." The accusation hung in the air. Several bystanders nodded approvingly. The businessman's live stream audience was sharing the video across social platforms. "That's what I'm talking about," the woman from the Bentley said loudly. "These people always try to scam their way into places they don't belong." Antonio's phone buzzed. A text from his daughter Carmen. "Papa, surprise inspection going well? The board meeting is scheduled for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Surprise inspection." The words would have meant everything to Tyler if he'd been paying attention instead of performing for his audience. Tyler was now examining Antonio's American Express Centurion card with theatrical suspicion. The black titanium card caught the lobby lights, its weight unmistakable to anyone who understood luxury finance. "Sir, I'm going to need to verify this card isn't stolen," Tyler announced with bureaucratic authority, his voice carrying across the entrance area. The accusation of credit card theft crossed a line that silenced even some supportive bystanders. But Tyler's confidence had grown with his audience. Marcus Chen, another valet, approached Tyler uncertainly. "Dude, maybe we should just call the front desk to verify?" "Marcus, I've got this under control," Tyler replied sharply. 3 years here, I know how to spot trouble." While Tyler called the credit card company, Antonio studied the hotel he'd designed and built from the ground up. The Italian marble entrance had been imported at enormous expense when he could barely afford his family's rent. Every element reflected his vision of creating spaces where people felt valued and welcome. The irony cut deep. His own employees were treating him exactly the way he'd been treated 45 years ago, when he'd arrived in America with calloused hands and impossible dreams. Tyler returned from his verification call, his expression troubled. The credit card company had confirmed the account was legitimate and in excellent standing, but cognitive dissonance was stronger than facts. "Sir, while your payment method checks out, I still think there's been some kind of booking error," Tyler announced to his audience of onlookers and cameras. "People who drive vehicles like yours usually don't stay at establishments like this." The statement was carefully worded, but brutally clear. Tyler was judging Antonio's worthiness, based entirely on his car and appearance. The livestream had reached 412 viewers. Comments poured in faster than the broadcaster could read them, but buried among the harsh judgment were a few different voices. "Something's not right here. Why is he so calm? This guy seems too composed." Antonio's phone rang. The caller ID showed Valdez Hotel Group, Executive Office. He answered with quiet dignity, putting the call on speaker so Tyler could hear clearly. "Mr. Valdez, this is Patricia from corporate," came the crisp voice of his longtime executive assistant. "I'm calling to confirm your arrival at the Grandview Palace. The general manager has prepared the quarterly performance reports you requested." The words hit the gathered crowd like electricity. Tyler's face went white as understanding began to dawn. "Yes, Patricia," Antonio replied calmly. "I'm here at the property. The guest experience has been educational." "Wonderful, sir. Should I arrange for the regional director to join tomorrow's inspection walkthrough?" "That won't be necessary," Antonio said, his eyes never leaving Tyler's panicked face. "I'm getting the full-service evaluation already." He ended the call and looked at the stunned valet. "Now, about my car keys?" Tyler's hands shook as he processed the implications. Valdez Hotel Group, the same name on his paychecks. The same family that had built the empire employing him and thousands of others. "Sir," Tyler whispered, his voice cracking, "are you Antonio Valdez, the owner?" The livestream audience had exploded to 647 viewers as word spread across social media. Comments went absolutely insane. "Wait, is this the hotel owner? This can't be real. The valet just discriminated against his own boss." Antonio's response was gentle but devastating. "I am the founder of this company. I built these hotels with these hands," he said, showing his calloused palms. "And I've driven this same Toyota for 20 years because it reminds me where I came from and why I built this business." The silence that followed was deafening. Every person who'd been recording suddenly realized they documented their own discrimination against one of the most powerful men in the hospitality industry. The businessman frantically tried to delete his live stream, but screenshots and recordings had already been captured and shared thousands of times across platforms. Tyler's career flashed before his eyes. 3 years of employment destroyed in 3 minutes of assumptions. Heavy footsteps echoed across the marble entrance as Robert Martinez, the hotel's general manager, appeared with obvious panic. Behind him came Sarah Williams, the assistant general manager, and the guest relations director. "Mr. Valdez," Martinez called out, slightly out of breath. "I am so deeply sorry I wasn't here to greet you personally. I was reviewing the occupancy analytics you requested for tomorrow's board presentation." The sight of the entire hotel leadership team rushing to serve Antonio left no doubt about his identity. The lobby fell silent except for the soft chiming of elevator bells. Martinez's expression darkened as he took in the scene. His founder standing beside his modest Toyota, while a valet looked ready to collapse. "Mr. Valdez," Martinez continued carefully, "I trust there haven't been any issues with your arrival?" Antonio looked around at the faces watching him. Some showed shame, others curiosity. A few displayed genuine respect for the first time since he'd arrived. "Robert, I've had a very educational experience with your valet staff. I think we need to discuss training protocols regarding guest assessment procedures." Martinez's face went ashen as the implications hit him. This wasn't just customer service failure. It was discrimination involving the company founder, witnessed by dozens and live-streamed to hundreds. Tyler stepped forward, his voice shaking. "Mr. Valdez, I want to personally apologize. There's no excuse for how I treated you. I was completely wrong. Antonio studied the young man who had humiliated him. Tyler, isn't it? How long have you worked for my company? 3 years, sir. I've been proud to work here my entire adult career. And yet you assumed I was trying to scam my way into my own hotel, Antonio observed without anger. Tell me, what do you think I looked like when I started this company with nothing but borrowed money? Tyler couldn't answer because the answer was obvious. Antonio had looked exactly like he looked now, minus 25 years. The woman from the Bentley, who had been so vocal in supporting Tyler's actions, quietly slipped away, no longer wanting to be associated with the incident. Antonio's phone buzzed with an incoming call. The caller ID showed Valdez Hotel Group, Crisis Management. Mr. Valdez, this is David Kim from Corporate Communications, came the urgent voice through the speaker. We're monitoring social media activity related to an incident at the Grandview. Do you need immediate assistance? David, I'm handling the situation personally, Antonio replied, but prepare a comprehensive response about our commitment to dignity and respect for all guests. Martinez stepped closer. Mr. Valdez, how would you like us to address this situation? Antonio considered carefully. His decision would echo through company culture and social media for months. Tyler, you're suspended immediately pending investigation. You'll spend the next 30 days working with our community outreach program, serving meals at homeless shelters and helping immigrants navigate housing services. You need to understand that dignity isn't determined by possessions. The punishment was merciful yet meaningful. Tyler nodded gratefully, understanding that many employers would have simply fired him. Additionally, Robert, I want comprehensive bias training implemented across all properties within 60 days, and a new policy stating that guest worthiness is never determined by vehicles, clothing, or appearance. Martinez nodded enthusiastically. Consider it done, sir. We'll make this a company-wide priority. Antonio turned to address the remaining onlookers, many still recording. Ladies and gentlemen, you've witnessed something important today. Assumptions about class and belonging can blind us to someone's true worth. He paused, letting his words carry across the marble lobby. I've driven this same Toyota for 20 years, not because I can't afford better, but because it reminds me that respect should be earned through character, not purchased through possessions. As Antonio was finally escorted to his suite with full honor, Tyler stood in the valet area, contemplating his future. His assumptions had nearly destroyed everything, but Antonio's grace had given him a chance to grow. The viral video continued spreading across social media platforms. Within 6 hours, it had been viewed over 50,000 times. The Valdez Hotel Group's stock initially dropped, but recovered as investors recognized the company's proactive response. Tyler completed his 30-day community service and returned as a changed man. He became the hotel's most requested valet, known for treating every guest with equal dignity. His experience became part of company training materials. The Toyota that had started the incident continued serving as Antonio's primary vehicle. He refused board suggestions to upgrade, explaining that humility was the foundation of good leadership. 6 months later, the Grandview won the National Hospitality Award for Customer Service Excellence. Tyler was mentioned in the company newsletter for his transformation. Antonio's surprise inspection had revealed systematic issues, sparking industry-leading diversity programs. The viral video became a case study in business schools, teaching future executives about corporate values and grace under pressure. 2 years later, Tyler wrote to Antonio, "You taught me that true luxury isn't about excluding people who don't seem to belong. It's about making everyone feel like they do." The marble entrance still gleams, welcoming Bentleys and Toyotas alike, because everyone learned that a person's worth isn't measured by their vehicle. Sometimes the most powerful lessons come from the humblest teachers. The weathered Toyota continues reminding everyone that greatness often arrives in unexpected packages, and the person you dismiss today might be the one who shapes your tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, subscribe for more inspiring tales of dignity and the transformative power of treating everyone with respect. Because you never know whose life you might change, including your own.